My dear listeners, this video will be long, but it will be worth it because it will be an important message to the entire Igbo nation if it is well received. Now let's go. Number one, if you are knowledgeable enough, you agree with me that many countries of the world has been under US sanctions for many years. Example, Russia, North Korea, Iran, and many others. These sanctions are intended to hurt the government, not the local population. But do they really hurt the governments of this country? No. Why? Because the government are the elites. They have the wealth. They have the money. If you sanction them from now to 200 years to come, it will never affect them. Rather, the sanctions that are meant to hurt the government are hurting this local population. Yet, these sanctions remain in place. And who can tell me why? I will explain that to you. Now, how many times you don't hear say person go Russia, North Korea or Iran or one of those countries under US sanction go make money? How many times for your village, for your neighborhood, you hear say person go country where they under US sanction go make money? The reason, the sanction they affect the local population there. They never even see food chop finish, let alone you will be an outsider to come make money from there. But these sanctions are intended to hurt the government of these countries, yet it's hurting the local population. Now, let me tell you why it's like that. They will never remove this sanction, despite the fact that it's not touching the government. The reason why they are doing this is because they want to mount pressure on the civilian population of those countries. They want to hammer the civilians with suffering. They want to push them to the limit where they will stand uncomfortably. And when the people are suffering and suffering and suffering due to sanctions, it will grow and reach a stage when they will begin to blame their own government for bringing so much suffering on them. And then they will be forced to revolt against this government, either to remove the government or to force the government to accept the US demand so that the sanctions may be removed. So the overall goal of the sanctions is to sow disunity between the government of these countries and their own people. That's number one. Number two, if we can all remember that during the Biafran War, more than 900,000 defenseless Igbo civilians were by the enemy. One will ask, why would they cause so much pain to defenseless civilians? I'll answer that question. It is for the same reason. They want to cause so much pain, so much suffering. They want to mount so much pressure on the civilian. They want to put the Biafran civilian population in a situation where they will begin to see the Biafran ambition as a calamity rather than freedom. They want to force them to begin to see Ojukwu as somebody who has brought so much pain on them rather than a hero. The overall goal of the massacre was to sow disunity between the Biafran civilian population and the Biafran military wing. Number three, you all can agree with me that Nigeria as a nation is divided between religious, political, ethnic, and tribal lines. And who is responsible for this division? The government. And why? Because they want to sow disunity among the people to prevent them from ever forming a single front, pursuing a single goal. Number four. Now let me bring you all to the IPOB matter. As you all can remember, when IPOB's military wing, which is the ESN, started their military campaign against their enemy, it all started from police stations. Then it graduated to military checkpoints. Then suddenly, boom, kidnapping started rising. Assassinations, massacres, many evil acts started rising simultaneously in Igbo land. And who is behind all these things? Believe me, the enemy is behind it. Why? Because the enemy has also infiltrated IPOB and is also operating using IPOB members. And I'm not in any way exonerating the IPOB organization. No, they are not sent. But I'm telling you the fact, the enemy has infiltrated them, sowing chaos, sowing disaster, sowing disunity. What is the essence of this chaos they are sowing in Igbo land? Those kidnapping, those assassinations, those evil things you are seeing in Igbo land. Somebody is sowing them. And why? The reason They want to push the local population. They want to mount pressure on the local population. They want to put you in a condition where you will begin to see IPOB as a disaster rather than freedom. Yes, the logic is reject IPOB or this pain will not stop. Now, when you begin to see IPOB as people who are bringing so much destruction and pain in Igbo land, you stop supporting IPOB, right? The enemy has succeeded. Remember their goal to sow disunity between the IPOB civilian population and the IPOB military wing. The same thing they did during the Biafra War. It shock you, Abi? Number 5. I want you to see Igbo land as a family comprising 5 brothers. This family has an enemy that wants to bring this family down. And this family has been working as one body, defending themselves for many years against this particular enemy. But suddenly, one day, the enemy discovered that one member of this family is always feeling like he's being shortchanged, he's being cheated, he's being looked down upon. Now, the enemy began to see this paranoid brother of this very family as a weak point to infiltrate the family. Do you know what the enemy started doing? One day, that very paranoid brother was sleeping. So the enemy entered their house and broke many of the important properties that belong to this particular paranoid brother. After destroying the properties without the knowledge of the brother, the enemy left. Now, when the brother woke up, having seen that most of his important properties had been destroyed, he began to ask himself, who could do this? Who else lives in this house if not my other brothers? Who it could be? Not possible. Now only me and my brothers live here. Now remember, this paranoid brother already sees his siblings as people who don't like him, who hate him. So he began to believe that they are the one who broke and destroyed his properties out of hatred. Yes. Remember the goal of the enemy, to sow disunity. He wants to sow the impression that this particular brother is actually being shortchanged in the family. Disunity. Now, when the brother begins to see other of his siblings are people who don't like him, what will he do? He will begin to separate from them. Right? The enemy is succeeding. Now, that paranoid brother in Igbo land is Ebonyi State people. Abakaliki people in particular. Now, let me bring you to what is happening in ogboji. Many of you will think, na so person cause because this person hold this person money, you go call these people, make it buy them. My brother, use your number 6. This is far beyond what you are thinking. There will always know the reason why that thing happened. There will always be a reason, yes. But if you look at the bigger picture, you will agree with me that somebody, a bigger power, is busy planning something very big for me and you in this part of the country. Now, I remind you, if you think something like this is not possible, check. Remember that there are Igbos in Niger Delta. There are Igbos in places like Bayelsa or Edo State or Kogi State. Am I wrong? And today, many of these people deny being Igbos. Why? The enemy has succeeded in separating them from us. And it didn't take the enemy 1 year or 2 years. It took more than almost 60 years to achieve this mission. So when I'm beginning to say something like this, don't doubt me. Enemies start operating. They dedicate the entire 10 years, 20 years in achieving this mission. The enemy is trying to separate one region from all of us. And that region is Ebonyi State. The enemy see the feud between Anambra and Ebonyi State people as a weak point to infiltrate the family. They wouldn't do something like this in Enugu State, Abia, Imo, or what's the other place? Or inside Ebonyi, Eda. Why? Because if you do something like this in those states, people will not believe the story when you tell people this is Igbo versus Igbo fight. No. But if you do it in Anambra State, people might begin to believe it. Why? Because there is already a feud between Anambra and Ebonyi State people. And this thing to an enemy is a weak point. They are capitalizing on it to infiltrate the family. Remember the example I just gave you. The example of 5 brothers. The enemy will enter, destroy something that belongs to that particular person that feels paranoid, and that person will begin to feel like, hey, now my brother destroying, they hate me, they don't like me, now I make they destroy my property, right? There's no other person you could point at if not his brother, because now only him and his brother live for that house. So if you not be stranger for him mind, he cannot be strangers wey do this thing. Now my brothers do am for me because they don't like me. This is the enemy's strategy, and it's beginning to work. Believe me, this will not be the last time this thing will happen. This will not be the last time. The enemy has already discovered a weak point in this family, and we continue to capitalize on this weak point till the next 50 years. I'm telling you the fact. It took them more than 50 years to separate Niger Delta Igbos from us. It will not take them up to 40 years to separate the Ebonyi State people from us. I'm telling you the fact. Why? Because there is already a kind of stereotype, a kind of feud, a kind of shortchanging among us. You see? So the enemy is capitalizing on this weakness. And again, content creators and influencers are also ignorantly instruments in the hands of this enemy. Content creators like Ebonyi Son and Eza's son, those people spreading fake news, spreading fake narratives. They are instruments in the hands of the enemy. But they do these things ignorantly. They may even pay them. Report say Anambra people not like Ebonyi State. These are strategies the enemy use. They might even use the politicians of Ebonyi State people to do these things. Now, help me share this video. Do you know why? Because this video is going to correct wrong narratives on this social media platform. Ebonyi State people don't already they warm up to fight. You know, go tell now and the fight go come happen small. It go start small. From small, it go enter big one day. So this video like this, just this video I just do, now it go help correct some of these untrue narratives where they spread for social media. I want our people to stay informed of what is awaiting us in the next 40 to 50 years. Believe me, before next 40 or 50 years, majority of Ebonyi State people will start saying, I'm not Igbo. I'm not Igbo. Why? The enemy is planning to separate them. It will take time, but they may succeed if we don't sensitize our people. So this is why I'm asking you to share this video. Now, check my name for Truecaller, and maybe you do me the smartest guy in town. Be smart. Ask you smart.